Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is SloyXP, captions on this video were provided by Liara, and at least one of us literally didn't know the meaning of the word whimsy. Don't worry, I have since explained it to him.
I literally saw a message come through on my Discord saying that Etho complimented the shopping district.
Wow.
And then immediately took it back.
What?
Everyone who's leaning into the wholesome and cottagecore this season will be delighted by the latest announcement from Mojang that baby animals are getting made even cuter in the next gameplay drop. And what a coincidence that it happens shortly after Hermitcraft implements a data pack that lets them keep baby animals as babies forever. We're dusting off the corkboards and the red string as we speak. Is Hermitcraft being wiretapped by Mojang? And if they are, can we please implement tea? I'm already 2 caffeine cravings away from reskinning the brewing stand as a kettle. Anyway, the year 2026 is now in full swing, so let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that have happened on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with DocM77, who has been watching Frozen with his child, which he claims is just wholesome family time, but I think we all know it's research.
Anyways, so then I thought, alright, why not embrace it at least for today? So here we go.
After all, he's been transforming trees to look flash frozen, complete with dead coral acting as though the grass is wilting in the wake of a harsh blizzard. Below the landscape, Doc is finally tiring of his storage being in absolute shambles and has started to set up a storage system that will fulfill his needs for the rest of the season. But in the meantime, he can descend from his frozen berg in style now that he has a path that leads down to a nearby goat statue fountain thing.
Was a community built in its original shape years ago, but now, got modified a few more times.
This might have been inspired in part by the civic planning of Good Times with Scar, whom Doc visits mostly to laugh at the Labubu cube around Scar's dinosaur, and somehow ends up being roped in as the master of industry at the shopping district.
Should I help you to get rid of these guys so I can finally prank you again? Like, what's going on?
As to why there is a Labubu cube fused into Scar's dinosaur, the fault is, as with many things, on Grian. Tired of his neighborhood shedding copper golem statues, Grian decides to gather them all up and mold the little green men into a more appropriate package. After all, this way he doesn't have to look at them, since the golems don't render from further away.
There it is. There's the magic wall. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? A super strange.
Though there's more pressing things rendering from further away in his video, as Grian has messed up something in the mod that gives him extra view distance, and now the previous season of Hermitcraft is glitching through all the unupdated chunks.
This is real. That over there is a strange phantom. It's so weird. I've never experienced anything quite like it.
Luckily, Grian's base is literally a cave with the only window being upwards, so this doesn't come up during all of the building. After all, there are 2 more croissant shapes to bake for storage building, and we'd rather let him cook. Though it feels worth mentioning that they did surgery on his end crystals.
But it turns out you could just use scaffolding. A much easier, simpler way. I'm so happy that this is sitting in the correct spot. Oh, it does look good. Okay.
One of Cubfan135's villagers actually does a Grian impression when Cub decides that his whole personality should be that he lives in a man cave. Focus on the cave. Cub has assigned his crop farming villagers personalities as well as thematically matching living quarters, as if they'll be doing anything in these homes that isn't sleeping. Not in this economy. Actually, the whole of Cub's ring of farms is now decorated as an open floor garden with waterlog rails for aesthetics and no exterior walls in sight. Truly, the render distance is the limit. And why not just declare the whole server Cub's base now that Hermitcraft has already given away the end dimension to the guy? In their defense, he's been doing an amazing job with the place, having now massively expanded the core endstone platform into his best impression of a Minecraft superflat, and also beveled the edge of it with a water curtain for safety and falling into the void reasons.
Does it update as we go? Oh, it does! Let's go! I think it's safe to say that this is definitely an improvement over what it was before.
Well, the Cubbian technical empire runs the risk of eventually crashing into the ever-expanding interiors that LaudividniYT has been focusing on. Thankfully, lately she's been primarily threatening the upper build limit, so at least they're not building towards each other yet.
Oh, the start of a mega base in survival Minecraft. This is so exciting.
The trouble Gem did run into already is that both of her projects, the Woodward Manor and the Community Nether Hub, demand a gargantuan amount of resources, while she's operating on a very Gulliverian budget. And that's something she has a Lilliputian amount of patience for. Gem now begins accepting donations for the hub, following the shopping district's example. And as for the mana, she trades upwards of multiple tons of material, navigating the barter network of her redstoner friends, which is how many more textures are introduced to the sky-high pillars that the build will be expanded onto. Just hoping she doesn't get into their habits, because the last interior first build in the series ended up with Pearl having to finish the roof for it.
I've shown you the footprint, right? How wide it's going to be, but I haven't actually shown you the height. Here we are, the top of the build. This is quite a ways up, and we have a great view up here. Obviously,
Gem's base is looking cool over there, and now I can see decked out from my base, which is really all I wanted.
Then again, some folks on the server have decided that their entire base is interior, and nowhere is that more true than Impulse SV's silo. It now has catwalk renovations, a nether portal, and branching bridges taking you around the complex, while Impulse continues digging out the basement one layer at a time. And you can tell that's going well from how much deep slate he has in storage.
I gotta say, this is one of the best decisions I've made so far this season, is being organized.
With that much material to move, Impulse is as surprised as anyone else that he hasn't upgraded his tools to netherite yet. So despite having been promised netherite armor by Pearl, he still finds himself taking the risky trip out to a piglin bastion for an upgrade template.
Oh, there was a guy with a spear! Oh, he can hit me!
The messing with murderous mobs continues when he can't help but get involved with Tango Tech's warden wrangling.
Boom! Oh, there he goes! Yeah, baby!
And after supersizing his iron farm so a steady stream of resources flows up into the central column of his silo like a lava lamp full of recently melted iron, Impulse adds an auto-crafting array to the storage wing of his underground operation.
How do I, asking just for your audience right now, as an exercise for them, how would one craft honey blocks? It's like honey bottles.
Pop quiz, hot shots. How do you craft honey blocks out of honey bottles?
XB Crafted has also been putting villagers under the floor, but in this case it's so they can farm potatoes and carrots in peace.
Well, so I've updated it.
Discrete functionality seems to be a hallmark of XB's base this season, as his storage inputs and trash cans are tucked neatly into the nearby walls. But despite all this innovation, he still needs a better way in and out of the enormous pedestal, so he builds a set of staircases connecting the copper golem plinth to the floor below. With that out of the way, he can't even relax quite yet. There's still a bunch on the to-do list, but at least he's taken steps towards that.
And so you can see how it's going to tie into the rest of the area.
But now, friends, gather around the stone generator, for it is time for your weekly update on the Moss War, and that is that Wells Knight is officially not participating in it. He says so himself, standing next to his own design of a moss farm that, if he didn't say it, clearly would have won.
I'm not getting involved in the moss wars. I have no interest in doing that. I just wanted a moss farm for myself. Frankly, it sounded fun.
Wells just needed the moss and the bone meal for a project and to kick off 2026 on a high note. Really, there's a certain wholenessness in the air about a few of the hermits making sure to check in on each other now that it's January. Wells personally pays False a visit and checks out the expanded aqueduct she's now embiggening. There's even an occult reading nook in the tower holding it up, much like all of us are only propped up by some wizardry at this point. New Year might be fun and hopeful, but ask me how I'm doing when I'm not hibernating for the winter.
What is the theme exactly? Is it just like kind of ancient runes, or?
It's just kind of fantasy right now.
Just sort of
haven't
fantasy?
decided fully on the lore.
Jevin brings us an episode full of collabs, but call him the Wild Update because he made a boat with chests in it. That whole other sail ship that Dread Pirate Jevin made last time is revealed to be his storage room, making it a containing ship as opposed to a shipping container. There is a convenient plank to walk, but it is still funny that he has to stage a boarding party whenever he forgot something in the chests.
Me running wild with the new shelves, stairs, slabs, and trapdoors like always, just trying to mix the colors up.
Which brings us to Tango Tech and his own unique storage solutions, for a large amount of hostile mobs. The reason, as for pretty much anything Tango does these days, is his upcoming AAA minigame Decked Out 3. Tango has decided that the longer the player takes playing the game, the more they should be punished for it, and devises a way for the level to do so: enemy monsters. So as the Omen stat of the run goes up, monsters will appear across the areas by the power of Tango Tech's camera account, moving along to AFK at the variety of spawners found below the absurdly massive game map. This arrangement becomes much less scary once you see that the monster queuing up system looks like all of them sitting on top of each other in minecarts.
Oh, we're out of minecarts. because they're all in the stack. That's a lot of spiders.
Tango has the cave spiders and the zombies all ready to go, even though there is nowhere yet for them actually to go to. But there is an absurd amount of terrain encasing the game already on the server. Tango has already spent hours building up the decked out mountain, and it should be telling that it's still mostly a foothill.
There we go. That's a good view of what we've got going on so far. Again, this height is like nothing, right? It's gonna be, it goes up to build height. So
and finally, there's Mumbo, who has recently found himself transformed into someone who can do a non-technical episode and is wondering how on earth that happened.
I think I need to make this place look a little bit more finished, because this is more than just the starter base. This is the foreground for my mega base.
In an effort to tidy up his wheat fields, Mumbo starts by gathering a bunch of andesite from XP Crafted.
Track of where I've flown on the server. Am I just like
figured.
Am I kind of just mining out your stuff?
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Like, this goes into some cliffy boulders, supporting his landscape better than the dirt mound ever could, although by the end he's put so much effort into it that he's hallucinating rhubarb.
And then I think I'm going to alternate the crops as well, so we'll have some wheat, then maybe some carrots, some potatoes, maybe some rhubarb over here.
The field gets a dividing path, some crop rotation, and a whole new patch towards the back. And by the time he's come back from touring Izuma's new RGB lighting setup, only about half of it has been trampled by pillagers and llamas.
So you're trampling my crops as well? I'm just going to say it. I don't think entities should be able to trample crops. I think it should be players only. That is all.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.